So a survey was carried out interviewing 113 SEO experts and asked them regarding link building and different things when it comes to link building. Some of the things they mentioned I agree with. Some of them, one in particular, I strongly disagree with. And essentially I'm going to be going through these things, their opinions, and giving you my opinion also. And the reason why my opinion matters, and you may want to listen to it, which you should listen to it. I've been doing SEO for over 8 years now. I've worked with multiple award-winning UK marketing agencies, and I've worked with small businesses, and I've also done SEO for a business worth 9 figures. I've done SEO for e-commerce businesses, B2B, lead gen, local businesses. So let's hop straight into this. So 113 of these SEO experts were interviewed. So if you look at the role breakdown, most of them were head of SEO and SEO consultants, as well as CEOs. So they've got a decent amount of experience. And interestingly enough, only 3.5% were link building specialists. So do you outsource your link building? Majority of people, 68%, said no. And what I found really interesting is how long does it typically take you to see the impact of link building on rankings and traffic? 42% of people said 2 to 4 weeks, and 37% of people said 6 weeks. So the vast majority of SEOs are seeing their link impact within 2 months, which is great news if you're looking for quick rankings and if you're looking to front load your backlinks sensibly, of course, and seeing the fruits of your labor. And interestingly enough, 15% said there's no correlation. Well, if that's the case, then why are you doing link building? What link building tactic do you consider to be the most effective? 67% said digital PR, which does make sense because if you're looking again, those big publications like the BBC or Forbes, well, guess what? You need an interesting story, an interesting angle. And the problem with digital PR, it can be very time consuming and extremely expensive. But if you hit on something, you can get a lot of those quality links. So I agree with this. And the second most popular was guest posting, which makes sense because if you're looking for links, well, guess what? You're going to reach out to other sites and you're going to say, can I guest post for you? And naturally, they're going to charge a fee because they know you would just want a backlink. So these people are buying backlinks essentially. And interestingly enough, even though Haro is very saturated, 28% of people consider this a very effective link building tactic. And here's where it gets a bit messy and I can almost cry. What is the average cost of acquiring one quality link? And most people agreed that one quality link costs $400 to $600. That's insane. You don't need to pay that much for a quality link. And at absolute minimum, they're paying $100 to $150 for a link. That's ridiculous. If you watch this video here that I've published on link building, I show you how to get quality links on sites that get hundreds of thousands of visitors a month for $40. But these guys are paying $600 on average for a quality link. You don't need to pay that much. Which metric do you consider to be the most reliable for determining domain authority? Interestingly enough, Ahrefs got 69% of the votes and only 7% was for Moz domain authorities metric, which is interesting because I remember a time where it used to be the other way around. Most people used Moz's domain authority metric, which personally I still do. What metrics do you use to measure the quality of a backlink? And 84% said the relevance, which makes sense. And then the second to that was the site traffic and the domain score. So I completely agree with these 3 metrics. You want to make sure these 3 are on point if you want a quality link. And then you got secondary stuff like the anchor text, the referral traffic, the inbound outbound link ratio, which is kind of important, but really you need to be paying attention to these 3. What percentage of your SEO budget is currently dedicated to link building? And most people said that's 28%. Some people said it's 18 or 17 or 16%, which I think is a good number because for the marketing agency I worked for, or marketing agencies, plural, that I worked for, they spent about 5% of the budget on links, which I definitely disagree with. I've seen these SEOs are doing a good thing regarding this. You should have a decent part of your budget dedicated to link building. And what I found interesting is the best link building outreach tool, 51% said they don't use any. So they're just booting up probably their Gmail or email Outlook and sending those manual emails. And the most accurate email finder is Hunter.io. And personally, that's what I do as well. Hunter.io and using email. So pretty standard, pretty typical industry stuff. Best all-in-one SEO tool, 64% said Ahrefs. SEMrush said 24%. Personally, I'm more of a fan of SEMrush. Do you use Google's disavow tools currently? 69% of people said no. I think this is because Google is starting to figure out that a lot of spammy tactics go on in terms of negative SEO, people just shooting these spammy links to your site. I think Google's just starting to ignore them now, unless you get some really toxic links, which yes, use the disavow tool. But if you're not getting a huge amount of these toxic links, you should probably just avoid using the disavow tool. Some people I've talked to, they've mentioned how the disavow tool actually reduced their rankings. Do you think competitors buy links? Thank God, most SEOs, 92% of people said yes, which does make sense. I remember speaking to this one SEO who's been doing it for over 10 years now. I looked at a competitor's backlink profile. I could see that they're buying links and they're on PBNs, but he disagreed and said no, they don't buy backlinks. I think this guy was on La La Land, so it's nice to see. It's nice to see that SEOs actually understand that people are buying links. That's just an industry normal thing. Do you consider link building to be the most challenging part of SEO? 47% said yes, 52% said no, so pretty much 50-50. Personally, I would consider it to be the most challenging thing about SEO, because you've got two things in SEO: on page and off page. And obviously on page, you control everything, and off page, you don't control anything. You've got minimal control. So naturally, that's going to be the most difficult thing, because you don't have full control over it. Here's one thing I found really interesting. Your main source you use for link building, the vast majority of people, 45% said email, which isn't a surprise. It's just a normal thing. If you're trying to reach out to a journalist or get a guest post, you're going to shoot them an email. Makes sense. What I found really interesting was there's a portion of people that use Slack. I'm assuming they're messaging other SEOs or other businesses for link exchange. The same with LinkedIn, they're probably messaging connections in the same industry and asking for a link. This makes me happy because I personally use Facebook groups and sites like Upwork to find quality backlinks for really cheap rates, and no one's taken advantage of this. No one, barely anyone, which is a great sign for us. Which SEO tool provides the most comprehensive backlink data? 74% said Ahrefs, which I agree with. I found that Ahrefs is better for analyzing links, and SEMrush is better when doing keyword research. Do you make an effort to get no-follow links? Basically, it's 50-50. Personally, I don't make an effort because you'll naturally get those no-follow links. If I'm paying for a link, then guess what? I want it to be a do-follow link, because it's going to have a much greater impact versus a no-follow link. How many high-quality backlinks can one person build per month? Most people said 10 to 15. And if you're doing digital PR, this is a really good number, but I imagine this is a mix of things like digital PR, passive links through the tools they created, guest posting, blog outreach, that type of stuff. 10% of people said they can get 40 plus links per month. I'm assuming they've got a decent link building budget. That's why they're able to get 40 plus per month, just one person doing the work. And this is the one where I completely disagree with, and I don't know what on earth these experts are talking about. Is it possible to rank high on Google solely through quality content without relying on backlinks? Unfortunately, the vast majority of these SEO experts said yes, it is possible. 71% of them said that. And this is interesting because if you look at the recent Google updates, they've proven otherwise. Look at these forums, especially Reddit, taken over. So I found out some search queries along the lines of best vitamin D tablets, and you see Reddit. You don't want to see Reddit show up. You want to see actual qualified resources. So niche site owners can attest to this, that quality content is not sufficient to rank on Google. It's just nowhere near enough. You need the other part of the equation, which is backlinks. So when you're reading different SEO case studies and statistics and recommendations, always take it with a pinch of salt, because there may be some complete and utter nonsense in there. And if you explore different link building services, this is going to be a typical price for one decent link. 50 domain authority, as well as getting minimum 1,000 monthly visitors, and you'll be paying £260 for that, which is about $350 just for one decent link. You don't need to pay anywhere near that price to get a decent link. And what I'd recommend you do is check out this video, first 100 backlinks, and I show you the quickest and cheapest way to build backlinks. I'm talking $40 on sites that get hundreds of thousands of visitors per month.